Don't fall into Ahlul Kitab. Alright, so that means we couldn't marry from them either or eat their food. So this particular belief or part of the belief that the Hindus have, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is indwelling. Unfortunately, Muslims have taken the same, many Muslims have taken the same concept when they say what? We discussed it last week. What is this concept that Muslims have? That the concept of kufr and shirk is the exact same concept as the Hindus. Anyone remember? In their belief? Yes.
I mean, I wasn't here, but I think I can relate to one that eminently they believe that there is a God.
No. What imminent means? It means that this is a belief that God dwells in everything. And it has different divisions. Imminent means that either God came from what He created, or the creation came from Him. This one, to me, emanates from something, to spring from something. Alright? This is a belief system. This is an actual belief. And some Muslims believe this. Most Muslims believe this one. Hey, some Muslims believe this, but most Muslims, the vast majority of Muslims in the world believe this. And this is shirk. Yes, that's right. Because they believe He's everywhere. That's right. To believe that Allah is everywhere is kufr. It's shirk. This is disbelief. This is polytheism. When we mentioned this last week, or the week before that. Because to believe that Allah is everywhere, if a person says Allah is everywhere, number one, they lied on Allah. Because Allah didn't say this. No, there's no place in the Qur'an where Allah says this. That's number one. Number two, they lie on the messenger of Allah. If you lie on the messenger of Allah, you lie on Allah. Alright? Because what He gives is revelation from Allah. Number three is illogical. And number four, for someone, back to the third, which is illogical, we mentioned this, we went in detail with this last week, or week before last. For someone to say that Allah is everywhere, you have to say that He's in everything. In order for Allah to be everywhere, He has to be in everything. The conclusion has to be that way. There's only two logical conclusions. Either He's in everything, or everything is in Him, which is this. You see? So, the same belief that the Hindus have, which makes them pagan, is the exact same belief that many Muslims have. Ask the average Muslim anywhere in the world, whereas Allah, they'll say, He couldn't everywhere. When Allah says that He's above His throne, and His throne is above the seven heavens. Not sit, because He's over. Right. And to say authority, this would be, yes. Yes. No, this is just, we have questions while we're doing this. No, because he's been here before, and I think your face is new to me, so go ahead.
I was just wondering, what did you mean when you referred to people of the book, and then you were saying that anyone that's not Muslim is kufr?
The Catholic. Absolutely. There's only two people on the planet. Allah mentions in the Qur'an, I've created you all, some of you are Muslim and some of you are Catholic. There's no such thing as in between. There's no such thing as a non-Muslim believer. It's impossible. It's illogical. Not just from the point of Qur'an and Sunnah. It's illogical. Those who believe in Allah are Muslims. Those who disbelieve in Allah are called Kafir. Kuffar. Yeah, disbelievers. Because if they weren't, this system is no different from the system of God's prophet. Anyone who's not a Muslim is a Catholic. Kuffar is disbelievers. The Jews, the Ahlul Kitab, we went through this maybe weeks ago. But to give it to you in a nutshell, and I think maybe that's the reason why, because you're coming in now. Put it in a nutshell quickly so we can get on. The people of the book, in the time of the Prophet Muhammad, were divided into two types. Among those, first, before we go into the two types, there are the Jews and the Christians and the Sabi'in. We say Sabians. in English, all right? But the sword we ink. But actually the Ahlul Kitab are the Jews and the Christians. They are divided into two types. That is, those who believe and those who disbelieve. All right? Those who believe are Muslims from among the people of the book. People of the book meaning those who follow the scriptures before the Qur'an. That's simply what it means. People of the book means those who follow the scriptures before the Qur'an was revealed. The other group among the people of the book are those who disbelieve, those who associate partners with Allah by any of its various forms. The people today, no matter how good they may seem, no matter how many so-called good deeds they do, Mother Teresa, Nelson Mandela, they're all kuffar, and if they die like that, they'll go to hell. This is clear in the Quran. Clear. Allah says, whoever says, وَلَقَدْ كَفَرَ الَّذِينَ قَالُوا إِنَّ اللَّهَ وَمَسِيحَ ابْنُ مَرْيَمَ. Allah says they surely are disbelievers who say that the Messiah, the Son of Mary, is Allah. And then Jesus will say to them, فَاعْبُدُوا اللَّهَ رَبِّي وَرَبَّكُمْ. Worship your Lord, worship Allah, your Lord and my Lord. إِنَّهُ مَن يُشْرِكْ بِاللَّهِ فَقَدْ حَرَّمَ اللَّهُ عَلَيْهِ الْجَنَّةَ وَمَأْوَاهُ النَّارُ. Whoever ascribes a partner with Allah, Allah has made haram for them paradise. And their home will be the hellfire. And they won't have any hope. So Allah says. In the next verse, He says, they are surely disbelievers who say that Allah is one of three. And He says, and if they don't stop saying it, just saying it with their lips, He's going to punish them with the worst of punishment. Allah says in the next verse. All through the Quran, He says this. Yes.
So is that a Muslim man to marry a believer woman than a person?
Of course, we don't want to get into the marriage part, but absolutely, yes. Allah says in the Quran is better. But the point is that not just from the point of Quran and the Sunnah. Logically, if these people are believers, then why do we give them dawah? Why do we call them to Islam? If they're believers, why don't we just leave them and just go about our business? Why are we continuously giving them dawah if they're believers? Because if you're a believer, you don't need dawah. When you die, you go to Jannah. Why? Can someone ask? I mean, I'd like to know, what is the reasoning behind us giving them dawah? Inviting them to Islam. Because they're disbelievers, and if they die like that, they go to hell. Just like the prophet's uncle, Abu Talib. Just like the prophet's mother, just like the prophet's father, they all went to hell. So no matter how good they may seem, because they put the garbage out every Wednesday, and they feed people in Ethiopia, and they do all these other things, build buildings for the homeless, it doesn't mean anything to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. They don't say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Allah says that He will never forgive anyone who commits shirk. He'll forgive anything below that, but He'll never forgive anyone who commits association partner with Him. And this is a big disservice, and it's a crime for Muslims to keep making Christians and Jews think that there's no difference between us and them except that you believe in. This is a big crime. This is a crime in Islam. To make them think that you're a nice person, you're good, you believe in one God. They don't believe in one God. If they believed in one God, they'd be Muslims. They would make shahada. Because the real belief, of which we're going to explain today, inshallah, this evening, will show you that they don't believe in one God. We'll show you, inshallah. So the first type is shirk relative to Arab, which is shirk by negation. And this is what Pharaoh did. Pharaoh, he said, فَقَالَ أَنَا رَبُّكُمُ الْأَعْلَى. He said, I am your Lord the Most High. This is what he said. By saying that I am your Lord the Most High, he negated that Allah was the Lord. He negated that Allah was the Lord. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even though he said what he said before he drowned, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent him to the hellfire. To the lowest depths of the hellfire. So that's one type. Shirk by negation. Then we have another one, which is shirk by association. Shirk by association. And for those of you who may be thinking about the verse in the Qur'an that says, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا وَالَّذِينَ هَادُوا وَالنَّصَارَى وَالصَّابِئِينَ مَنْ آمَنَ بِاللَّهِ وَالْيَوْمِ الْآخِرِ وَعَمِلَ صَالِحًا فَلَهُمْ أَجْرُهُمْ عِنْدَ رَبِّهِمْ وَلَا خَوْفٌ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا هُمْ يَحْزَنُونَ. Surely those who believe, and those of the Jews and the Christians and the Sabians who believe in Allah and they do righteous deeds, they shall have no fear, nor shall they grieve, they shall have their reward from their Lord. Anyone who's thinking about this verse, the meaning of this verse, according to the explanation of that verse of the Qur'an, means those people who came before the Qur'an. That's what we're talking about. Those people who came before the Qur'an. But the Prophet ﷺ has explained this verse in the first book of Sahih Muslim and the section and book of Iman. On the section of the duty to accept the prophethood of the Messenger of Allah for your salvation. The first book of Sahih Muslim and book Iman, the book of Iman, Kitabul Iman, under the section of the obligation, or I don't know how they translate it, but the obligation or the necessary requirement, or however you want to call it, of following the prophethood of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The prophet said, I swear by the one, and we know from the science of the Qur'an and the science of the Hadith, we know that anytime Allah or the prophet says, I swear, Allah swears by something, or the prophet swears by something, this is more emphasis now. When you really want somebody to know, man, I swear I saw that brother doing this. I swear by this is very emphatic. The prophet says, I swear by the one who has my soul in his hand. Every person from this ummah, and then he named them. He said, Min hadihi al-ummah, Yahudiyun wa Nasrani, the Jews and the Christians, who hear me, hear what? Hear what? What does he mean by hear me? And Qur'an and Sunnah, who hears me, and walam yu'min bi, and doesn't believe. Believe means what?
Take your shahada.
Take your shahada. Believe and submit. Dakhala an-nar. He said they will all be in the hellfire. All of them. And he named them. He said, everyone from this ummah. Everyone. Not some. Everyone is going to hell from among them. Except who? Those who believe, who accept what I've come with, the Qur'an and my Sunnah, after they've heard it. So this is clear proof. And Allah mentions this once again, brothers and sisters, all over the Qur'an. إِنَّ الَّذِينَ كَفَرُوا مِنْ أَهْلِ الْكِتَابِ وَالْمُشْرِكِينَ فِي نَارِ جَهَنَّمَ خَالِدِينَ فِيهَا أُولَٰئِكَ هُمْ شَرُّ الْبَرِيَّةِ. Surely they disbelieve from among the people of the book and the mushrikun. They shall be in the hellfire forever, and they are the worst of creatures. Allah mentions this. Yes.
One question: if that's the case, is there any judgment for people Christians?
There's a day of judgment for everybody, and everybody's going to go through the same thing. Every human being. And we're going to come to that maybe if we can continue these classes as we go on. It's going to be probably months ahead, or maybe weeks ahead. Everyone goes through the same thing. The questioning in the grave, the going over the bridge, the deeds being put on the scale. Everyone goes through this. Everyone will go through this. All right? Now, we're going to try to do this as quickly as possible, inshallah. As far as shirk ilah, ilah. This has a few categories also. And I'm really very sorry that those who are just coming, you just have to try to piece things together. Inshallah, maybe you'll get some understanding of it. The first, shirk relative to al-ilah. The first is akbar, like we say Allahu Akbar, and the second is Akbar. Shirk. Shirk al-Akbar is the major shirk. And we're talking about this is relative to al-Ilah, Tawheed al-Ilah. And we remember Tawheed al-Ilah is what? Before you finish writing, what is it? Tawheed al-Ilah. No, Tawheed al-Ilah. What is this? Well, today was a test, man. You're in bad shape, bro. You remember? Huh? No. What is it? The Tawheed of worship. Tawheed of worship. Al-Ilah is the Tawheed of worship. Alright? So now we're talking about the antithesis of Tawheed al-Ilah. The opposite of it. Alright? So in other words, simply it means people who commit shirk in the worship of Allah. What does this mean? This simply means that someone is associating a partner with Allah in any of the various forms of worship. And we went through this, and actually we went through this the week before that. Alright? For instance, if someone, we remember we mentioned love. Love is a form of worship. Muhabba is a form of worship. The person loves someone more than they love Allah, even if it's their own self, then this is shirk. Allah mentions it in the Qur'an. He says, قُلْ إِن كُنْتُمْ تُحِبُّونَ اللَّهَ فَاتَّبِعُونِي يُحْبِبْكُمُ اللَّهُ. He says, say to them, O Muhammad, if you love me, if you love Allah, then follow me. And Allah will love you. Allah will love you. So one of the proofs that we love Allah is that we follow the message of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. In our loving Allah, our love should be towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala more than anything in this life. More than anything in this life, including the Prophet Muhammad. Well, how much more anyone else? Alright? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He mentions in the Qur'an that there are some people among mankind who love others. They set up gods besides Allah and they love them more than they love Allah. And He says, وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا أَشَدُّ مِنْ حُبٍّ لِلَّهِ. He says, but those who believe, they're more intense in their love for Allah. So love is a form of worship, as we mentioned a couple of weeks ago. Anyone who ascribes their love to their country, or to the color of their skin, or their nationalistic ties, or to their genealogy, or to their race, or to their husband, or to their wives, or their children, or anything more than Allah, or equal to Allah, then they have committed shirk of al-Ilah, which is shirk akbar, the major shirk. Another example, which we mentioned a few weeks ago, is yes.
Q or G?
That's G. That's the one. Another form of major shirk relative to al-Ilah, we mentioned last week, is ta'ah, which is obedience. Remember when we mentioned about the story of the person who came to the Prophet? He had a silver cross around his neck. He was a Christian. His name was Adib bin Hatim. And the Prophet ﷺ asked him, he said, whatever your monks or your cardinals or your priests or your ministers or your bishops or whoever, whatever they say is halal, even though Allah has said it's haram, whatever they say is halal, don't you say it's halal? Because the Prophet said, you worship him. He saw the cross around his neck. He said, you worship your priest. The Christians don't think they worship their priests. And the Muslims are ignorant, they don't think that they worship their priests, but they do. The Muslims are even ignorant to this. The Prophet clearly stated, he saw the silver cross, he said, you worship him. Immediately. He said, no, we don't worship him. And then the Prophet in his statements after that, he's explaining what is worship. He said, whatever your ministers or your monks or your rabbis say is halal, and Allah has said it's haram, don't you say it's halal? He said, yes, of course. He said that whatever your ministers or your monks, and for those Muslims who do the same thing, whatever your imam says, whatever your sheikh says, or your leader says, it's halal, and Allah has said it's haram, don't you say it's halal? Yes. And whatever your ministers or your imam says it's haram, don't you say it's haram, even though it's halal? He said yes. He said, then you worship it. This is worship. Because your obedience now is going to someone other than Allah. Other than Allah. And then the Prophet recited the verse in the Qur'an. They take their monks and their rabbis as God besides Allah, as Lord besides Allah, and Jesus the Son of Mary. See? But we don't see it that way. Your imam says that it's permissible for you to shave your beard. And Allah's Prophet says it's haram for you to shave your beard. If you follow your imam in that, you are doing no different than saying Allahu Akbar to your imam. There's no difference. Because obedience is a form of worship. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells the women that they have to dress a certain way, and your imam says you don't have to dress that way. If you follow him and obey him, you have made your imam a God besides Allah. This is the major shirk. Because no one should be put as a partner with Allah in any of the forms of worship. You see, some Muslims around the world, they seek refuge in verses of Qur'an. They put the verses of Qur'an around their neck. Ayatul Kursi, Qul A'udhu Birabbil Falaq, Qul A'udhu Birabbin Nas, whatever, surah or some verses. They think it's the verse around their neck, and they say, well, brother, this chain is silver, it's not gold. I'm at least not wearing a gold chain, because I know that's haram. I have a silver one around my neck. It doesn't make any difference if it's platinum or plastic. If that person thinks that chain with the verses of Qur'an is going to protect them, they are committing shirk akbar. Because the only protector from anything harmful is Allah. See? This is major shirk. And we can go on and on and on and on and on. Alright? That's one form. As far as shirk relative to ilah, shirk of asghar, one of the forms of this is showing off. Shirk of asghar or minor shirk, one of the forms of this is showing off. And the Prophet ﷺ said, I fear for my ummah this more than I fear anything. I fear this most for my community. He said it's like a black ant on a rock, a black rock, in a night that has no moon. Showing off, wanting to get a great reputation, wanting people to see you and to hear about you, and praising, having self-praise, or allowing people to praise you so that you can be lifted. See? Why is this one of the worst types of shirk, even though it's minor? It's because the only one that should be proud and arrogant, as we mentioned, is who? Allah. This is an attribute of Allah, to be arrogant. This is an attribute of Allah, to be arrogant. One of his names and it's one of his intrinsic attributes. Alright? Another form of shirk al-asghar, of the minor shirk, is to say if. Is to say if. In other words, you're driving down Chancellor Avenue, make a left on Bergen Street, and a car hits you. Boom! The child dies, and Allah forbid. Oh, if I would have made that left turn, this wouldn't have happened. This is shirk. That statement is a statement of shirk. If I wouldn't have married you, I wouldn't be in this mess. This is a statement of kufr and shirk. Why? It's because the Prophet said, don't say if, because if opens up the doors for the works of shaitan. Because this was decreed by Allah. If you say, if this would not have happened, you are now committing shirk. How are you committing shirk? You're transferring the act of humanism or the act of the created thing to a created thing. When it's Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala who caused that thing. This has to do with qadr, which we'll come to inshallah if we allow it to go on. So we should never say if. You say, we should never say if. Another form of shirk that falls into this category, shirk al-ilah, is the person saying, if it's your will, or if it's your will, if it's Allah's will and your will. If it's Allah's will and your will, inshallah, I'll meet you tomorrow. Or if it's Allah's will and my will, I'll meet you tomorrow on the corner at 5:30. No, we can't say this. Why? Because when we say if it's Allah's will and your will, you just made linguistically and religiously yourself or whoever a partner with Allah. That's why when the man said, Insha'Allah, or in shi'ta, he said to the messenger of Allah, if Allah wills and you will, O messenger of Allah. The Prophet ﷺ said to him immediately. See, the Prophet wasn't like us, and he's the best example. We'll let things slide by because we don't want to hurt people's feelings. The messenger of Allah told him, he said, are you making me a God with Allah? He said, don't say this. But what you should say is, Insha'Allah, thumma shi'ta. If it's the will of Allah, then your will. Because our will is subsequent to Allah's will, not along with Allah's will. Alright? So this is shirk relative to Tawheed al-Ilah. As for shirk relative to Asma wa Sifat, and we went through this before, in a general way. And once again, the sisters who came and the brother who came, it may seem like we're speeding, but please just be patient. And I apologize once again. The shirk relative to Asma wa Sifat, the beautiful names and perfect attributes of Allah. For this one, we have shirk by humanization. Shirk by humanization. This is humanization. Yes, that's correct. This type of shirk is when Allah subhanahu is given the forms and qualities of the human being. That's simple. They call it or animals, because there are some people who also give Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala attributes of animals, or the form and qualities of animals. Usually most people use human beings when they make shirk by humanization, because human being is higher than man. So of course they're going to use man more than they use animals. And some use other things, like insects. So when the animals are higher than the insects. For instance, the Hindus and the Buddhists, they worship, in those Asian countries, they worship the idols where they make Buddha, for instance. And some people take part of the human anatomy and they worship it. We mentioned this weeks ago, how some people, like in Korea, they build statues out of bronze and copper and wood, and they make they form the statue into the forms of phallic symbols. They make a large symbol of a penis, and they bow down to it. And we look at that and we say, oh man, these people look crazy. But they're Muslims who are committing shirk similar to this. Though they're not making things out of with their hands and bowing down to it, but they're committing acts that are similar and worse than this. And we're going to come to this, inshallah. We also have, of course, with the Christians, with Michelangelo making this form of his nephew or his uncle with the Caucasian type image of Jesus, so-called Jesus. And then we also have the shirk of humanization of what those of us who know Master Farad Muhammad. This is another form of shirk by humanization. Alright? All of these are shirk by humanization. Then the other type is shirk by deification. And this is a biggie among Muslims, unfortunately. We have, in this example, the practice of the Arabs. They used to have three main gods. Their three main gods was Lat, Uzza, and Manat. M-A-N-A-T. These are the three main gods. They had a whole lot of gods. Anyone know how many they had exactly? 360 gods. Anyone know why they had 360 and not 359? One for each day of the year. One for each day of the year. They were really sophisticated. Sophisticated mushrikun. Sounds like a group.
Don't let it get out.
number one seller on the shirt list. Top 10. The three out of all the guys they had, the first one was called Lat, the second one was called Uzza, and the third one was called Manat. They had some other ones called Hubal. Some other ones. Baal was yes, that was also one, but that was a carryover from the time before the Prophet Muhammad.
Yusuf Ali in the narrative has a lot of information on that. The days, the weeks, and things like that.
Yeah. That probably be interesting. We can check this out maybe one day, inshallah. So, what we mean by shirk by deification, this is relative to the names and attributes. That's not what we said. Shirk by deification, what they used to do with the pagan Arabs, they used to take these idols and give them what we call, in Arabic language, we have something called, I believe they have it in English too, but we have nouns that are called mushtaq. Nouns that are called mushtaq, which means they're derived from other words. Alright? They're derived from other words. So what they did, they knew, and we mentioned before in the first class of Tawheed or Rabbah, that they believed that Allah was Allah. This is another proof that they're not believers. Just like the Christians. Christians say, I believe in one God. The pagan Arabs used to say the same thing. Remember, with Allah in the Qur'an, O Muhammad, وَلَئِنْ سَأَلْتُهُمْ مَنْ خَلَقَهُمْ فَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهُ. O Muhammad, if you were to ask them, who created them, they would say Allah. But they're better off than the Christians. So they can say Allah, the Christians say Jehovah. Or Jesus. So that means they should be more believers, the pagan Arabs should be more believers than the Christians, if we use that Christian. Right? But they're all mushrikun. وَلَئِنْ سَأَلْتَهُمْ مِنْ خَلَقَ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ لَيَقُولُونَ اللَّهُ. If you were to ask them, O Muhammad, who created the heavens and the earth? They would surely say Allah. They would surely say Allah. Allah says, قُلِ الْحَمْدُ لِلَّهِ بَلْ أَكْثَرُهُمْ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ. To say, all praise is due to Allah, because most of them don't know. Most of them don't even know. What they used to do was, even though they knew that Allah was Allah, they said, oh no, what we do is, we make these idols that we made, these are daughters of Allah. We use these to get close to Allah. We know Allah is the big one, but we use these little ones to get close to Him. Because we're not pure enough to go directly to Allah. So what they did was they took names of Allah, we're talking about the names and attributes of Allah, shirk of the names and attributes of Allah. They took names of Allah, Ilah. The word La comes from Ilah. La comes from Ilah. One of the names is one of them. This is Allah. Ilah. Yes.
Is that any way relevant to the Jewish terminology Elohim?
No, this is something different. No, yes, you're right. That's right. Elohim is very close to the translation of Ilah. Very close. It's very close to it. And it comes from that word comes from a Syro-Babylonian, the language of the Syro-Babylonians. Uzza comes from Allah's name, Adib. This is a derivative of Adib. So they know Allah was Adib, so they said we're going to call this little one Uzza. See? And Allah, this name Manat, actually it's two A's, or you can just put, if you don't have room to put the other A, just put a line over it. Make a long vowel, Manat. Alright? there. This came from one of Allah's names, which is called Mannan. Wa alaikum salam, Ismail. Give it high. Alright? So Lat, Uzza, and Manan, they all come from Ilah, Aziz, and Manan respectively. Alright? This is shirk by deification, using the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, derivatives of the names of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then we have another example of this type of shirk, which is performed by some people in Syria, and you find them in some other places. You find them in some other places in the Muslim world. This is a Shia group, the breakaway Shia group, and they believe that Ali, radiallahu anhu, was the manifestation of Allah. Just like some of us believe Allah came in the person of Master Prophet Muhammad. Exact same thing. That Ali was the manifestation of Allah, and they gave him qualities of Allah, some of Allah's attributes. Alright? They also have another group. They're also called Ismailis, these type of Shia. There's another group called Dawud. And you see this in the news. Well, we used to see it a lot. We don't see it that much anymore. The Dawud. You hear them saying the Dawud militiamen in Lebanon or the Dawud militiamen in Syria. These people are also a breakaway Shia sect. They believe that a man named Hakim bin Amrillah, Hakim ibn Amrillah, they believe that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and he became one. He was a manifestation. In fact, they believe that he was the last manifestation of Allah. The last person that can become manifest in Allah among mankind. Alright? Then we have some so-called because they call themselves that, Sufi. They have some other beliefs that are shirk by humanization, or shirk relative to Asma al-Sifat, or deification. We have one whose name was Ibn Arabi. This man, brothers and sisters, is one of the most famous personalities in Sufism today. And he is also one of the biggest criminals that ever hit the face of the planet Earth. And he's one of the biggest troublemakers that has ever plagued the Muslims and the religion of Islam. And he is praised more than Muhammad and Allah himself among us. This man is an individual who began a system of a belief called Wahdatul Wujud. Wahdatul Wujud. He started this. Wahdatul Wujud. Excuse me. Hold it. Wahdatul Wujud. Wahdatul Wujud. And maybe it's time you can help me with this translation. This is kind of difficult. You can help me translate this. The unity of existence. Unity of existence. I think that's what we should call it. Alright? Unity of existence. What this man said was simply what this flowery Arabic term means. We'll just, as we say, break it down. What he actually said. What he meant, he said it in another statement. In many of his books he said this. This is what he said, and I put it in quotes. All is Allah, and Allah is all. This is a basic belief among the Sufis. And they'll lie, and I'm saying it in a strong word, they'll lie to you and tell you they don't believe it. They believe it. But what's the problem? The problem is that many Muslims believe this, they just don't say this. And this goes back to believing that Allah is everywhere. It goes right back to believing that Allah is everywhere. And in most of the books of the so-called sheikhs and the so-called scholars and the so-called imams and Muslim leaders around the world today, in Arabic, Urdu, English, French, Chinese, and any other language, you'll find them saying Allah is everywhere. That concept is no different from this concept. Alright? Allah, all is Allah, and Allah is all. Yes.
Some Muslims say when they say Allah is everywhere, they say that we mean that His knowledge encompasses everything.
Right. If that's what they mean, then this is not just belief. This is a fact. Because this is the way we believe it. Now, I'm going to just mention a few of these long, flowery terms. You won't have time to write them down. Just listen to them, inshallah. I obtained this from the Encyclopedia Britannica. And it's interesting. The Kuffar knows these things. They have a wealth of knowledge in these libraries. And this section was diverse views of the relation of God to the world. It says, on the basis of the preceding characteristics, 7 forms of pantheism. Does anyone know what pantheism is?
That's another God.
No, it's a little bit different from what this is another saying another God. We have the shirk we know in loose terms is polytheism, right? Associating another partner with Allah. In loose terms. So we'll put polytheism at the top. Alright, that's the heading. From this, we have ditheism. We have tritheism. We have monism. We have pantheism. We have panentheism. We have kenokatheism. Kana, spelling of this correct. We have Kathanotheism. K-A-T-H, Kathanotheism. That's the correct pronunciation. Then we also have henotheism. And we can go on. All of this is shirk. All of this is shirk, and the vast majority of people in the world believe in one or all of these. One or all of these. Alright? The first one is to believe in more than one God that is divided into two. They say they believe in one God. The people who are atheists, they say they believe in one God. Wow. وحاول يجاهد أو نقص العظيم
This is how we make these things. All right? So these people, they believe in, they say they believe in one God. Like Christians, they believe in one God. There's no other God except Him. What? What? He's divided into two. He's one, but he's two. He's two, but he's one. Our Master is the one that is the creator of all good. This is the one that's associated with all good. And incidentally, he's also the God of light. God of good, the God of light. And the other one is the God of evil, also the God of darkness. So they separate the two attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His creation. They one is the creator of good, the other is the creator of evil. And brothers and sisters, Muslims believe the exact same thing. Believe the exact same thing. Many Muslims believe that Allah is not the creator of evil. I've heard them say it my own ears. I've been in debate in this masjid and continue to our forever. What is Islam? What is Islam? These people who believe that Allah is creator. Allah is the Qur'an. Allah is what is creator of everything. Creator of everything. Alright? So now if he doesn't, if he didn't create evil, or even the capacity to do it, of course, relative to Allah, everything is good. Relative to us, it's decided to do it, good and evil. We're going to get this, we're going to get the other. Allah, so this is Allah will cover. But we know that Allah created everything. We know that. And if we say that he didn't create evil, then we're saying, just like the Gloria, that there's another God. If you say that Allah didn't create something, then you're making shirk by negation. Because you're negating that Allah is not the sole creator. See? It's shirk. It's real subtle. It's very, very subtle. But easy to fall into if you don't study Tawheed and understand it correctly. And that's why many Muslims are making salah, paying zakat, Siyam, the Dumun, the Ramadan, they fast the Ramadan, they make Hajj, they make Umrah. And in actuality, when you talk to them, they're Hindus. When you talk to them, they're Zoroastrians. When you talk to them about what they really believe, they're Buddhists. Or Jehovah's Witnesses. They have mixed beliefs. Not the belief of Tawheed, the pure, pristine, unadulterated Tawheed. Alright? Christianism, I think that's kind of easy, right? Christians, some of the Christian sects, many of them, like the Roman Catholics, the Baptists, Pentecostals, Presbyterians, Greek Orthodox, and also there's some African religions, and there's some Egyptian religions, and people who are into the so-called Egyptology, Osiris and Isis, and the other ones, the name I said, three gods, right? Then we have monism. When people believe that the whole metaphysical realm, this whole metaphysical realm is together as one reality. Everything, it all exists together as one reality. Then you have pantheism, which is the belief that the Creator dwells in everything. He lives, he's immanent, with an I, immanent. He dwells in everything. Panentheism is where the creation dwells in him and he dwells in it, and the creation is still separate and he still has power over it. I'll read some of these for you. For example, they say monotheistic pantheism. This is the belief that Allah is immanent, indwelling. Immanent in and is typical or typically regarded as a basic element of the world, providing the motivating force for movement and the motivating force for change. While same time, the world remains a plurality of separate elements. Basically what they're saying is, they're saying that Allah is divine, and He's inside the thing that He created, but the creation has separate qualities and elements from the Creator, though He is dwelling in all the things that He created. Right? This is the basic concept, the basic belief of some Muslims, of many Muslims. Goes back once again to saying Allah is. In atheistic pantheism, this belief, Iman-atheistic pantheism, this is the belief that Allah is a part of the world, and immanent in it. Though only a part, however, His power extends throughout its totality. So this is a little bit different from the first one. In the first one, they say He is total. In the second one, they say that He is partial. It's still having an effect on it. Absolutistic, monistic pantheism. Allah is absolute and identical with the world. The world, although real, is therefore changeless. In other words, time, all these events and eras of time, they really are not changing. They're really not changing. Why? It's because they do God in the change. God is in all these things, and that means the world is changing. See the conclusion of the government? Then you have relativistic monistic pantheism. The world is real and changing, and at the same time is within Allah. The world is real and it's changing, and it's within Allah, meaning like the body of Allah. But Allah remains non-easily absolute, and it's not affected by the world. See? So this one, they're saying He's not affected, but He's in it. I heard one man a few years back say that Allah was inspired, but He wasn't burned by it. Allah was in corruption, but He's not affected by it. Any man leading to the hellfire. A cosmic pantheism. This belief is the belief of many Sufis that the absolute Allah is the ultimate absolute reality. He makes up the total reality, and everything else is an appearance of the ultimate unreal belief. Many of the Sufis say this. This is what Ibn Arabi said. And you see it in their practice. And brother, why Allah reward you, brother, because see, this is important. And once a person understands Tawheed well, it changes their behavior. Because you believe like these people, you can see your behavior being affected by it. Things that people say, things people do. See? Now here's a belief, a cosmic pantheism, that people are believing that we don't even exist. We're an illusion, and the holy reality is Allah. How Allah? How is this true? Let me explain how it's true. That belief is the belief that Allah is the only reality, and we are just an illusion, and we're not real. You mean? You're negating that we, but why is it true? Why is it true? In cooking. You have another answer? Okay. Yes.
So you're saying that Allah is not the creator?
In one way, yes, you're saying that. What's another clear way that it's kufr or true?
You derive from the attributes of Allah.
Well, that's supposed to what he said. But one of the clear signs that this is kufr and true is that if we say those must pray to Allah, those must fast for the sake of Allah, those must pay the tax for the pleasure of Allah, those must make hajj, all these other rituals, jihad, etc. Those must do all of these things. If we say that we're unreal and we're an illusion, we're saying that none of these things are happening for Allah. We're saying that nothing is working for Allah. So in other words, you don't really pray. You don't really fast. You don't really pay for tax. Because you're unreal, you know what I'm saying? The only real reality is Allah. All right? Then we have panentheism. Panentheism is the belief that he is the cause of the world and its effects. His essence is eternal, but he is involved in time. He is involved in time. And this goes on a little bit further, but we don't have time to go into it. A little bit different from pantheism. Panentheism is a little bit different. With pantheism holds that the divine Allah Ta'ala is immanent. And the other ones, they believe that, or pantheism believes that Allah Ta'ala is involved in all the actions and affairs of the universe. And there's Muslims who also believe this. They call it Qadariya. The Jabariya. The Qadariya of the opposite. One comes from the Qadariya. Then you have the next one, which is theism. This literally means the people who believe in one God at a time. They have many gods, but one of their gods is the ruler at that specific time. That's this one. Theism. They believe in a lot of gods, but they believe that one is ruling. And the Christians practice this. Some of the Christians practice this. But when you ask them, you say to them, you believe that Jesus is God? Absolutely, yes, Lord, Jesus is God. Then, when you ask them, well, what about the verse in the Bible that says that when Jesus was on the cross and he cried out, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, my God, why hast thou forsaken me? When he died, where was God? You ask them this. So now, they make a separation now. The Father is actually the one who's ruled by the Son was dying, though the Son was equal with the Father. That's this type of polytheism. One God is ruled at one time. And a slight tangent of that belief is henotheism. Those people say, you got people say, no, the Jews are one God. It is closest to us than monotheism. But the Jews are henotheists. They believe that God is a personal God. It's the God of Israel, God of the Jews. They really don't believe he's your God. They'll say that to you. Talk to you. But what they really believe is what that scripture says. That God is the God of the children of Israel. And that's why they call you a goy. Well, that's why they call you the word they use, Gentile. Thank you. Gentile. Goy. All right? Yes. Brother.
When one accepts,
that's true.
When one accepts the Judean or the Christian faith, is one actually identifying himself as a pagan? When someone accepts the Christian faith, okay, the Christian faith.
As a religion,
way of life. Their way of life. As we know it today, the way it is now, in practice. Are they actually also getting themselves, are they actually taking on the identity of a pagan?
Oh, they are pagans. What's that?
But I'm saying a person comes in and says they want to accept that religion. Okay? And by accepting that religion, they themselves become a pagan.
Absolutely. Once again, every Kafir is a Muslim, and every Muslim is a Kafir. Big misconception among some Muslims. Some Muslims believe, as we explained last week, that some Muslims believe that every Muslim is a Kafir, but every Kafir is not a Muslim. Not true. It's not true. If your person is a Kafir, they're a Muslim, and the person is a Muslim, they're Kafir. And as soon as you are, as long as you are not a Muslim, you're both of those. You're not a Muslim, you're both of them. Now, before we conclude, this brings us to the point that maybe somebody may have in their mind. What about the people who never heard of Islam? They never heard of Jesus of Islam. The true teachings of Islam. That's the false Jesus. The true Jesus of Islam, as taught by Muhammad ibn Abdullah, the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. What about those people? Allah is not unjust. He's simply going to go to hell. They're Catholics. According to the Sharia, yes, they are kuffar. But where they're going to go is going to be dependent upon what they had inside of them that was unchanged, that Allah created from when He created the first man. And we listen to the verse in the Qur'an, I believe it's the 7th chapter of the Qur'an, Surah Al-A'raf. I think it is 172nd or 173rd verses or 134th verses, where Allah says, and remember when Allah took from the progeny the seed of Adam, his seed, from the back of Adam, his seed, and He said, He made them bear witness in themselves, saying, Allah alastu bi rabbikum, am I not your Lord? Qalu bala, they said, of course. And Allah said He did this, as the hadith explains, that Allah created Adam, He wiped His hand across Adam's back, and all of the souls that were ever seen on this planet Earth until the last man, it sprung from Adam's back, and He asked them, am I not your Lord? And they said, of course. And Allah says in this verse, He did this so they could never ever say that they were unaware. And the next verse says, He did this so they could never say that it was our parents who committed shirk, who made us do this. You see? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is just, infinitely just. Those people who were in the jungles of Australia, those people who were in the Ozark Mountains and the Appalachians or whatever, those people who are in the deep, dark forests of Africa, those people who are in the Yukon and this land never reached them, Allah, Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, He will send to them a messenger and will ask them the same questions that you and I are going to be asked in the grave. Who is your Lord? What is your deen? And who is your prophet? Even though no messenger appeared to them, or no messenger from among the messengers, like the person that's giving dawah appeared to them, Allah is not unjust. Based on what they bore witness when He wiped His hand over the back of Adam, they will be dealt with accordingly. But that's in the next life. As for this life, anyone who does not take Shahada is considered a Kafir and a Muslim. That's the way we deal with it in this life. Even the children, and this is going to be a real topic I can say, the children who die young, according to the scholars of Islam, if their parents were kuffar, then we consider them the religion of their fathers and mothers. Even if they die miscarried. We don't say, as some of them say, that child is 4 years old and going to paradise. This is incorrect. We don't say this. According to the Sharia, we have to judge them by the religion of their parents. The Prophet ﷺ in a hadith collected by Imam Ahmed said on the authority of Ali radiallahu anhu said, I asked Khadija to the Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the Khadija of the Prophet, the wife of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I asked concerning her two sons. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he asked from the Prophet concerning the two sons of Khadija. Two sons of who? Khadija. Before the Prophet married her. Before the Prophet married her. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, Huma now they're both in the hellfire. Children. And then Ali looked at her and saw her, karaha on her face. Saw displeasure in her face. He saw karaha on her face. Displeasure. And then the Prophet ﷺ said, Wallahi, I swear by Allah, if you were to have seen them who? The two sons, you would become angry. You would have been disgusted. Children. Then Khadija said, O Rasulullah, what about our child? He said, Bin the Jannah. He's in paradise. And then the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that he gave a statement. He said that the إن المشركين or إن المؤمنين وأولادهم
بالجنة وإن المشركين وأولادهم بالنار. That the believers and their children are in paradise, and the mushrikun and their children are in hell. And the Prophet then recited a verse of the Qur'an that I believe is in the surah called Tur, the 52nd chapter of the Qur'an, where he says, those who believe and their dhurriyyatuhum, their seed, Allah will give them their reward. It will have Jannah. See? So we learn from this that the opposite is the same for those who disbelieve. But for those children that died and didn't reach puberty or whatever, they died at 2 or 3 or 18 months or 6 months. From the Sharia point of view, in the dunya, we view them as kuffar. But Allah will deal with them in the next life, based on what I said when I was sitting down, based on Allah letting his hand over Adam's back and the soul coming out, etc. But from the Sharia, dunya, worldly point of view, anyone who does not take shahada or didn't have the ability to take shahada because they were too young, we view them as kuffar. They're not washed, they're not shrouded, they're not buried, they're not given the salat janazah, nor are they buried among the Muslims. And Allah knows best about their destiny in the next life. But if they don't take shahada as an adult, they are kuffar and they will be in the hellfire for now. But I'm talking about the children now. We're talking about adults. Yes.
What about the ones that one parent is Muslim and one parent is not? And they die.
In Islam, one of the requirements, and we don't want to make this a fifth class, but this is actually like fifth. Actually, it's Tawheed mixed with fifth. All right? But because you mentioned it, I have to make this point because it's important. In Islam, which many brothers don't know, when they marry these Christian women, which in a lot of ways they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing because Allah mentions what type of Christian women or Jewish women they should be married. He says the women and the people of the book are muhsanat. This means a woman who has never committed zina. Afifatun min az-zina, or an zina. The women who are chaste and modest. They've never committed fornication or adultery. And brothers are not marrying these type of women. Alright? That's number one. Number two, in the Islamic marriage of a man to a non-Muslim woman, non-Muslim meaning Jew or Christian, so you can't marry any type of woman. Alright? That child, one of the requirements and the conditions is that the child has to be reared as a Muslim. That's a condition. He cannot allow that woman to rear that child any way that she wants. That's a condition for marriage. The child has to be raised as a Muslim. So that covers everything. Now the child is going to get to the father. And we don't want to make this a fifth class now. We just want to stick with this.
I want to get back to shirk then.
Okay.
So therefore, for those Muslims who compromise with their wives who are Christians, that their child, that something they may divide, maybe the child here, they go to the church and the other child comes to the mosque here. This is a shirk.
We don't call it shirk, we just call it ignorance. It's ignorance on the Muslim part, the Muslim man's part. How can he give his children over into the hellfire? Allah says in the Qur'an, don't marry the mushrik women until they believe. Don't marry the mushrik men until they don't give your women into the mushrik men until they believe. It is because a believing male, and in another part of the verse, believing female, is better than a mushrikah or mushrik, even though they may be very beautiful and alluring. وَلَوْ أَعْجَبَتْكُمْ, the other part, وَلَوْ أَعْجَبَكُمْ. Why? So Allah says, أُولَٰئِكَ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى النَّارِ. Why? Because they invite you to the hellfire. Because that's where they're going. If they don't accept Islam. وَاللَّهُ يَدْعُو إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ وَالْمَغْفِرَةِ بِإِذْنِهِ. And Allah invites you to the paradise and His forgiveness by His permission. See? But the point we want to make is that we need to learn the difference between Tawheed and Shirk. And the difference between Islam and Kufr. For instance, one of the sure signs that we don't understand this is that many of us who were in the so-called nation of Islam, when you ask them, how many years have you been a Muslim? They'll say 20, 22, 23, 17, 29, 30 years. This is a clear sign that they don't understand Islam. That they don't understand Tawheed and Shirk. Because there's no way possible you can add the years 1968 when you got your X to your being a Muslim now. How can you do this? You were pagan, and if you would have died like this, you'd be in the same hellfire as Pharaoh. And this is a clear proof, brothers and sisters, that we don't understand Islam well. No, you became a Muslim when Muhammad made you take Shahada. That's when you became a Muslim. But to say this person's a pioneer, and we give him a pioneer dinner, he's been a Muslim 32 years, this is a lie. This is a lie, this is kufr, this is shirk. We're making a big mistake. Big mistake. Major mistake. So you became a Muslim when this man introduced you to Islam, the real Islam. Alright, are there any questions about this, brothers and sisters? Any questions? Any statement, any repose, any refutation, any correction?
I have a question. You know the hadith, the people of the period by Sheikh Al-Bani?
The people of
the period where another scenario is going to be set up and the prophet will address them into the fire.
Yes. But you didn't elaborate.
Well,
is there a point?
How is that a reference to the people who are going to have children?
Once again, we're not saying they're going to hell. We're saying that from the dunya, from the dunya point of view, the Sharia takes care of what we see. Allah takes care of what we don't see. That's the basic premise. The Sharia deals with what we see in the dunya. That's why the person who abandons Salah, doesn't pay zakat, all these things, Muslims now, they're talking about Catholics. If he doesn't pay zakat, if he doesn't make salah, then we view him as a kafir. Of course, if he also denies, so there's a difference of opinion among the scholars. Some say he's just a kafir automatically, and some say, which I lean towards, my personal opinion, is that he or she has to also deny that salah is obligatory and then not make it. Alright? But many of the scholars of Islam say that no, when a person abandons salah, they're kafir. They're kafir. When they abandon salah, they're kafir. You don't wash their body, you don't shroud their body, you don't pray over them, you don't bury them with the Muslims. In fact, you don't even bury them with the Jews or the Christians. Some of the scholars of Islam, eminent scholars, say you bury them outside of the grave. They're a dump, city dump somewhere. Because abandonment of salah is a major sin. Okay? So with the Sharia deals with cutting off the hand, stoning the married adultery, etc. It deals with what we see on the outside. If a person was known to commit shirk and kufr, not accept Islam, he didn't accept Islam, he didn't take Shahada, the Shahada of Islam, alright? If they didn't do this, then we can say, yes, that person is a kafir, and they'll be in the hellfire forever. We can say that person is a kafir if they did these things. But a person, that same person in the next life who took Shahada and did all of these evil deeds or whatever, we don't expel them from Islam because of something of major crimes that they committed. But we just say that person lived a life of kufr. He was a very disobedient person. Okay? And we still bury them as Muslims. We wash and shroud their bodies and bury them as Muslims. As for the children, the statement that I made, what I meant is that because we don't know what Allah wants to do with them, we have to judge them on the religion of their parents. That's what I mean. That's the way we have to judge them. And Allah is going to deal with them, and He knows, and He's the most just. But as for adults, if any adult does not take Shahada, my grandmother was one of the sweetest women, brother. One of the most kindest, sweetest, considerate women that you ever want to meet. I tried my best, like the Prophet did when I was told to give her Shahada. And my grandfather. 64 years they were married together. Never harmed a soul. Always helping people. They go to hell, brother. I'm not, I say it to my mother. I say it to my aunt, my uncle. You know, I have a rapport with them now. I don't just go up and say, Grandpa and Grammy was Catholics and they're going to hell. But I let them know, even themselves, you, mommy, are going to go to hell if you don't accept Islam. There's no salvation when you accept Islam. I don't care how nice you are. I don't care how nice you may seem. You're going to go to hell if you don't say, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. And the Prophet ﷺ in the hadith, what time is it? 8 o'clock here?
5 minutes.
The Prophet ﷺ, you remember the point, the Prophet ﷺ in a hadith, in the collection of Muslims, hadith, authentic hadith, they saw him, he looked very sad. They said, what bothers you, O Messenger of Allah? He said, I asked permission of my Lord to seek forgiveness. What does seek forgiveness mean? Make dua. Make dua. Because it's not permissible to make dua to your parents. It's not permissible to ask Allah to forgive them if they're Catholic. It's not permissible to ask Allah to bless them. This is clear in the Quran. He said, I asked, and what I mean by dua, that's what I mean. I don't mean ask Allah to guide them. I said ask Allah to forgive them. He said, I asked my Lord, it's the messenger of Allah. I asked my Lord permission to seek forgiveness to my mother. Make dua for Allah forgive her. And he didn't permit me. وَلَمْ يَأْذَنْ بِي. He didn't permit me. And I asked my Lord's permission to visit the grave of my mother, and he permitted me. It's clear. Right in line with the verse of the Qur'an, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala admonished the messenger of Allah in the Qur'an, the 9th chapter, the 84th verse. He admonished the messenger of Allah for praying over kuffar, making salah and dua for the kuffar. See? Why was he doing it? Because he's a gentle man. He's the most gentle of men. He's the most loving of men. He felt bad. He didn't want anybody to, he wanted to pray for people. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala used the second Khalifa, Umar, to pull the shirt of the Messenger of Allah and said, what are you doing? Umar did this to the Messenger of Allah. Can you imagine this? What are you doing? Don't you know what Allah says in the Quran? That if you were to ask forgiveness for them, and if you were to ask forgiveness for them 70 times, Allah says he'll never forgive them. Once it's been made known that they died Catholic. So the Messenger of Allah, with his extremely kind heart, he said, Adib. So I said to Adib, أكثر من 70. So I'll ask forgiveness more than 70 times. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed the verse in that chapter, 9 verse 84. He said, ولا تصل على أحد منهم مات أبدا ولا تقم على قبره. He said, Allah said, do not pray for any of them that died like this, أبدا, ever. ولا تصل على قبره, and ولا تقم على قبره, and don't even stand at their grave. So Allah admonished the Messenger of Allah. And after this, he never did it again. He never did it again. And then the Prophet, in my conclusion, was doing the khutbah. And we know we can't talk during the khutbah. A man came into the masjid, stopped the Messenger of Allah while he was performing the khutbah, and said, "O Messenger of Allah." And remember, brothers and sisters, there's no way in the world that the Prophet ﷺ can know not to seek forgiveness for his mother unless Allah tells him. He has permission from Allah. And it also tells us if Allah didn't allow him to seek forgiveness, it tells you that she's in hell. Right? Because we know those who are who died Muslims, we encourage to seek forgiveness while they're dead. But the kuffar were not. And we also have the example in Surah Tawbah that Ibrahim was also told admonished for not seeking forgiveness for his father. But the Prophet was giving the khutbah. The man came in and said, "O Messenger of Allah, Adib, where's my father?" He said, "Abuka is now. Your father is in the hell." The man walked out. He called him back. Stop the khutbah. Said, "Where's the questioner? Where is he?" He said, "Come back, come back." Now, does anyone except Ismail, because he studied Islam formally, does anyone usually put on your thinking kufi and your thinking khimar? Alright? When the Messenger of Allah gives an answer to someone, and then he calls them back, what's happening? Tell me what you think is happening. Try to be a good student. If the Messenger of Allah asks a question, and then the person walks away, and then he calls them back to give them some additional information, what has happened? Think.
Allah has revealed them.
Allah sent Jibreel. Allah sent Jibreel to give him some additional information. Because the Prophet doesn't know the unseen. Alright? He called him back, and then he used the particle of emphasis. He said, Inna abaka wa abi finnar. He said, surely your father and my father is in there. Surely your father and my father is in there. Alright? So anyone who does not say Shahada, tell me, how many Muslims in the world today do you know, living right now in 1992, have done more for Islam than the Prophet's uncle who died as his believer? How many? How many Muslims? And believe me, you're not prejudiced and you are unbiased. I don't think there's too many Muslims you might have some people in your mind, you know, my shit, my man, my brother. How many Muslims do you know? And you can add them all up. That did more for Islam than the Prophet's pagan uncle Abu Talib. Do you remember what he did for Islam? I mean, he protected the Messenger of Allah with his own body. And the Prophet went to his bed. He begged him, oh, uncle, say this word, La ilaha illallah, and I will be an arguer for you on the day of resurrection. I'll be able to intercede for you on the day of resurrection. And there were two big-time pagans who were standing there with him. And they chided him and encouraged Abu Talib to denounce, you're going to deny the gods of your father, your forefathers? And he died. And the Messenger of Allah wept. Why? He said because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala revealed to him that his uncle's punishment will be the lightest punishment because of his service. There's a special condition for only Abu Talib that the Messenger of Allah receives. No one else receives it. So we can't attach this to anybody else today. It's a specific favor to the Prophet or his uncle. He said his uncle will be receiving the lightest punishment in hell, and the people that receive that punishment will think it's the worst. Does anybody know what it is? What that punishment is that his uncle will receive? It's his shoes and his laces burning, and it will boil all the way up to his brain forever and ever. Simply because he didn't die saying, La ilaha illallah. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us die in Islam, not the other Islam of these other people, the Islam of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And we also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us courageous and stop lying to these Christians and Jews, making them think that they are no different from us. The only difference is you believe in Jesus and I believe in Allah. We have to stop being criminals, brothers and sisters. We have to make sure that these people understand that if you don't accept Islam, you are going to burn forever. If we don't tell them this, respectfully, kindly, courteously, we are criminals. And I'm only using criminals because I'm trying to be nice. Because in other words, Allah uses them. Fasiqun. Because we're lying to these people. We're deceivers. We're trying to hurt their feelings. I would rather hurt their feelings. Wallahi, brothers and sisters, I've said this publicly on many occasions to try to drive home all this that I've said for the past 2 hours. In one statement, I would rather be a Muslim dying in AIDS, dying with HIV positive. I'd rather die like that with La ilaha illallah in my chest than die as a Jehovah's Witness or die following Farrakhan in good health. I'd rather die like that, knowing that Allah is my Lord, Muhammad is my messenger, Islam is my deen. رضيت بالله ربا وبالإسلام دينا وبمحمد النبي. I'm pleased with Allah is my Lord, Islam is my deen, and Islam is my deen, and Muhammad is my leader and prophet and messenger. I would rather be like this than a muscle-bound Kafir dying hit by a car in good health, eating all the health foods, drinking from juice man juices, and exercising every day, and he dies believing in kufr and shirk. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for His success in this life and the next. And we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us die only in the state of Islam, because as Allah says in the Qur'an in 2 different verses, وَمَنْ يَبْتَغِي غَيْرَ الْإِسْلَامِ دِينًا فَلَنْ يُقْبَلَ مِنْهُ وَهُوَ فِي الْآخِرَةِ مِنَ الْخَاسِرِينَ. Whoever seeks a religion other than Islam, it won't be accepted from him. And in the last day, he will be of the losers. So Allah says in the Qur'an, whoever seeks a deen other than Islam, it will not be accepted from him. And in the last day, he will be of the losers. What does the losers mean here? It means those who will be in the hellfire. And Allah also says, إِنَّ الدِّينَ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ الْإِسْلَامِ. The only deen with Allah is Islam. That's it. It's clear. The verses are clear. You can take it or you can leave it. I'll take it. I'll take it. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك وأستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Anything that I said, that is correct, is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anything that I said that is totally incorrect or partially incorrect, it is from myself and or shaitan. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala never makes mistakes. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.